come on. Oh, baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place, sweet home, Chicago? Wherever you are in life, you never forget the neighborhood. This is the show that talks all about real estate. Hear it from the industry professionals. Join host Kevin Koldak from Realty Executive Cornerstones to learn what the neighborhood pulse is. Today, we are blessed to have our friend Rick Angell on. And we're doing what, Kevin, today? We're talking about
client care and lead follow-up. So
there we go.
Some of the little bit that it goes hand in hand, and we are blessed here to have Rick Angell with us today. Good morning, Rick Angell. How are you today?
Doing wonderful. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Good morning. It's middle afternoon where that guy's at.
It's morning somewhere.
This is right.
5 o'clock somewhere, right? So sounds good. So you're from Carolina, South Carolina. Tell us a little bit about your location and the people you serve.
Sure. So we're in the Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina area, which is the upstate. We call it, about 3 or 4 hours from the coast. A lot of people from outside the state may think of Myrtle Beach when they think of South Carolina, but we're up there. I'd like to call more Clemson country. So Clemson, if you've heard of Clemson football, that's in the upstate. But Greenville, Spartanburg area, it's one of the hot spots that people are moving to, especially with the Great American Reshuffle, I would call it, the past couple of years.
Yeah. We have a lot of people going to the Carolinas from Chicago. Apparently, your taxes are a little lower than ours.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of crazy. So for we were talking earlier in the green room. You're saying your average sale price out there maybe $275, $300, right in that range. What was the average tax bill would be for that price point?
About somewhere between $1,500, $2,000 a year.
Okay, so we're only triple. Not
bad.
Not
triple.
bad.
Triple on that size.
Maybe 4 times quadruple, maybe 6 times.
Yeah, it's 8,000 to 10,000 a year here in property tax.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Property tax is a little bit tough here, but man, we have some resources. If you were to call 911, how long would it take to get an ambulance to your house?
Who? Here? Me?
Yeah, you.
I have no idea. That's a good question.
Here, I mean, in 5 minutes, you got ambulance, police, hospitals, shopping. I mean, it's all right there. We got some of the most amazing streets here too. Our street sanitation, our local government is amazing.
Yeah,
but we pay for it. We do pay for it. That's for sure. So today, I know me and Rick have met through Dave Ramsey's program. We're both Ramsey trusted brokers, and we're very proud to say that because we've gotten through that vetting process that it takes to be qualified to serve folks on that arena. So as we met, I noticed that Rick is an amazing agent, takes very good care of his clients, and has a lot of pride in what he does. And that's why he's here today, because he is an industry professional like no other. So welcome aboard again. And so today we're talking about client care. I see behind you there's some pictures. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that is my photo wall of what I call my heroes, and my goal is to have a list top 150 that are either past clients or advocates, and ultimately what it is each year I'll reevaluate that wall and keep top grading. Right. Obviously I've got more than 150 past clients, but do I have 150 clients that are each sending me a referral each year?
Right.
So those that are sending me referrals, that are top advocates, those are the ones that go on the wall.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. And that's a great way to, when you have top clients that are referring your business, is they not only should you recommend, do something special for them, I think it's really important that you recognize that they are trusting you with their friends and their family. I mean, that's the highest compliment somebody can pay, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The other reason for being on the wall is that shows that that's what's important to me. Keeping those people top of mind and knowing that those are the people that I need to stay connected with the most. Make sure I take care of them.
Absolutely. And when we're talking about client care, there's a lot that goes into that. I know that one is just communicating with them. So I'd say, you need to communicate with your past sphere, 6 to 8 times a year, if not more. And I think a lot of agents miss that entirely and don't stay in contact with them at all. What are some of the things you do to keep in touch with your sphere?
Well, there's
Sorry.
Spear past clients. There of quarterly phone calls. So every time I get a past client, they go on they close, and then there's a set of things that we'll do to after the closing to make sure it gets done. But they go on a list of reminder to call them. First of all, call them again in a couple of weeks after the closing, make sure everything's going well. But then and then call. There's another point where I scheduled a call to remind them to make sure they file for their primary tax rate. If it's new construction, I'll call them, about the 11th month, about their 1-year warranty. But outside of all that, there's, the quarterly phone calls. And then they get monthly postcards from me, and they're on the email campaign as well. And then any client events and things like that we do.
Sure.
To you guys, and Rick, you said you sold like 70 houses last year, some of that nature in that ballpark anyway. You guys have both been, Kevin, you think 12, Rick, you said 8, you've been in the industry. How much of your success is the interactions with people that you helped get into a house?
So I'd probably say 70% or so.
Okay.
Yeah. About 75% is return business. Other stuff, it just comes in different ways, lead sources or what have you. Now, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, how would they get a hold of you, Rick?
There's certainly, they can look me up on Facebook. Just search Rick Angell. Make sure you put 2 L's when you're searching. Most of my posts are public, and that's a good way to get to know me. And then I'm also on Instagram, but Zillow, I've got a lot of reviews on Zillow. You can even Google me, Rick Angell.
There you go.
With 2 L's. Remember that as
2
well.
L's, yeah. That's it. So that's kind of nice to have that second L in there. Kind of sets you just apart.
It does. It certainly does.
Because I did a search with 1 L, and there's a lot of Rick Angells one L.
Yep.
But, it's awesome. Well, thanks. That's it. So yeah, client follow up. You were talking about some different things we do, and we at the end of the year we send a tax package. Basically it's their HUD, the final statement from the title company, to them to remind them to write what they can write off and some of those things. When they go to their tax man, they have it in hand that they can hand that to the tax person, make sure they maximize their tax return. And that's always important, because when people close on a house, I don't know what they do with that envelope, but they never seem to have those records, right? So it's good to have, right?
So you're pulling up my Facebook page there. So it's something else I do is you'll see there's I'm known for my dad jokes. So
I love it. It took me a second. I'm like, so for those listening out there, he's got like the cash flow quadrant there, and in the top or left quadrant, there's it says cone, CONE, and then to the right it shows a cone, like a traffic cone, and then in the next quadrant it says C2 TWO, and it shows 2. That was very, very funny.
You go back to the top one, you go C1. C1, C2. But there's another one. If you scroll on down to the one before that, it's Father's Day coming up, so I posted a couple different Fridays. The dad joke day. So you got your big burger, you got your mini burger, you got your big soda, you got mini soda.
The mini soda. Too good.
Very clever. Very clever.
Besides that, though, on my Facebook page, I've got an assistant that posts something for me every day, and there'll be other things that we'll post just to build interaction, because the Facebook algorithm, the more people will like and comment on your posts, more likely they're going to see the more important ones that you do post.
Right.
Not more important, but I guess the business ones.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You want to connect with folks for sure. So that's it. So when you get new clients, and there's a number of ways they come in for us. We have a couple different lead systems that we use, and sometimes we don't always get the best information. So we use things like tax records to make sure we got the right information. We use Ben Verified. I don't know if you ever use that. Been verified. You can punch in their name, their phone number, their email. They'll try and verify who they are and what, because sometimes people put in things like, who was talking the other day about they got your mama's butt or something like that. Was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
And I was like, okay, probably not a good lead, right? but if they give their real phone number, their real email, then that's probably something you could use has been verified. Goes in, they search through these terms and kind of pin it down to somebody. So it's just a reminder to folks too of how they use how you use your information across the internet to pull that all together, right? And it's a little bit scary as they come out with my past addresses, my kids, everything. They're like associated people. I'm like, wow, they got a lot of information on me. I don't know where they get it, but it's
little
crazy.
Shout out to Ted Legal. How are you, Ted? Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, man, Teddy.
So now with 70% of your business coming from past clients, that client care is amazing. But let's talk about lead follow-up. So you do. I know, Kevin, you are networked pretty heavily in a lot of things. You're both involved with the Ramsey, you're that which you get leads from as well.
Sure.
Do you treat leads, guys, the same from wherever you get them, or do some weigh a little bit heavier than others and go, "Ooh, I gotta really take care of this one," or how does that work with you guys?
You want to
go
start
first? Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
All of them, yeah, I would say I'd like to treat them all the same. We all got a system that we follow, for with leads, and so as soon as one comes in, they immediately get a phone call as quick as possible. I think speed to the lead is key there. So if you get to them first, that's great. But then after that, I like to text a picture of my business card, and then I'll follow up to the phone call. Then of course emailing. Then they go into the CRM and get added to email drips and our follow-up system.
Right. So you're right. Yeah, we treat them all the same as well, and you do that for a couple of reasons. Is the liability if you treat different people differently, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Whether they have money, they don't have money, they're looking for $100,000 house, looking for $1 million house. You have to ask those same questions. You have to give them the same care, and if you don't, then you need to reevaluate how you're doing your business and what's important to you. Is it the relationship you're focusing on, or is it the dollar value? And if you're looking just to make sales, then you can do that, but it's going to catch up with you in the long run because you're probably not following up with the right people anyway. So I think that's important to ask the same things. We put, we do we call, email, text immediately. We try to do that within 10 minutes as such. And then we'll try and call again later in the day. So the first time we call 3 times, and people get sometimes frustrated with that, but it gets them to answer the phone because you call once, they're like, I don't know that number. Nope. You call twice, they go, still calling me. Third time they go, this must be important. And they pick up the phone. And it's a little bit challenging. Some people don't like to do that. They feel like they're being too forward, but it does get the phone answered and you get to ask the questions and build that relationship, so we got to show people that we're willing to fight for their business is how I look at it. Is I'm willing to bug you enough to get your business to help you accomplish whatever your goals are.
I like that. Good tip.
And then we got, they go into CRM. We talked about a drip campaign. So a lot of agents out there don't know what a drip campaign is. I know when I first heard it, I'm like, drip, great, awesome, right? Leaky faucet, what do you got? Right? So what would you say drip, like if you had to define it and kind of give an example?
It's just more of a systematized set of emails that will go out. That's what I call a drip. So you got it's part of building a system. And I think if you're going to be successful, you got to have some systems in place.
Yeah, or you'll go crazy. It was pretty much the rule of thumb.
And it helps you with keeping your quality the same for everybody as well.
Right, absolutely. So drip campaigns, so I use Brivity. I had mentioned that earlier in the green room, and you can set up what they call auto plans, and it will email and text, and then remind you to call. Email, text, remind you to call. So it'll run through a process depending on which auto plan you use. So if you're out there and you're shopping for a CRM, see what integrations are in there. I know Top Producers made a lot of changes to theirs to make it more user friendly. It was one of the best out there, but it was so clunky it was hard to use. But I use Brivity. Lion King is good. Salesforce, if you're with Keller Williams, they have a great one as well. I think it's Command is what it's called. So a lot of opportunities out there, but you got to set up these systems in place because you want to keep in communication with people. Communication is the key to business. To be in front of people and be in contact with them no matter where they're at in their life. Right.
Yep, absolutely.
So that was pretty cool, and I know you're very good at it, and that's what we love about you. Now, do you set schedules? When do you make your phone calls? You're just like, well, tomorrow maybe I'll make a few phone calls, and then Saturday, well, I think maybe. What's your schedule? Do you have a calendar you go by?
I'll tell you what's on my calendar, and then I'll tell you what the hardest part is. I got a calendar on my calendar every day is from 9 to 11 to lead generate or lead follow up. Now it doesn't always go as planned, of course,
Right.
but if something else gets moved into there, I'll move that block to the afternoon or something.
Right.
And there's times when I'll mix it up, but it's kind of like brushing your teeth. Hopefully you brush your teeth often enough and consistently enough that when you don't do it, you kind of feel yucky, right?
Right. Yeah.
Your mouth kind of feels yucky. Same thing with your lead gen and lead follow up time. If I don't do it, I feel yucky. Like, oh no, I didn't do what I was supposed to do today.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I hear you. And you said something that's really important is you don't say, well, it got messed up today. I won't do it. I'll just pick it back up tomorrow. As you said, you move it to another block of time, which is so important because a lot of people get busy and they'll say, well, I'll call tomorrow. And then the next day they get busy and I'll call tomorrow. So it's important to make sure you do that. And then when you set your calendar, make sure that you have things in there that you have to get done, do or die. And it doesn't, if you get busy during that time frame, it moves to another block. It doesn't just get deleted. You don't forget about it because it's so important to keep those calls going.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of crazy. But as we're communicating with people and we're setting our calendar up, we call that time blocking, right? That's what I call it, time blocking.
Yep.
And you're putting certain things in your calendar every day, every week, and you're consistent. And the more consistent you can stay, the easier your career is going to be because you're going to have a systems follow up. You're going to have a calendar in place, and you're not going to be running around all crazy, being stressing your family and stressing your clients. You want to be in a good place.
Yeah. And to top that off, I think, that you'll eventually get to the point where you're, so busy that you kind of can't, you feel like you're dropping the ball on some of those things like your lead gen and lead follow up. I guess it's what they call the ceiling that you hit. And when you get to that point, then you're missing a person and you probably need to look at adding somebody to your team to help out.
Right. And we were talking in the green room too, is you just hired an amazing assistant. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's her name?
Yep. Her name's Leslie.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Is she in the room with you today?
No, she's not.
No, okay.
She's working from home today.
There you go. We would harass her if she was in
That's
there.
right. We give her a shout out.
Yeah.
Have her jump on.
That's right. So tell Leslie we said hey and thank her for the job she does.
Sure will. Absolutely.
Great she was doing the other day and she was in the room. Do you say it now too that she's not in the room?
Oh, I'll brag on her all the time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know she does, and that's great. But you're right. Adding somebody to the team and knowing when to do that is tough.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is when do you add that person because it's an expense, and then you start getting worried about the future and what I can't. There's a lot of thought that goes into that, and I think the other thing we talked about is coaching. I think coaching is very important as well because they're going to help you get these systems in place.
So before we jump into coaching, Ted Legal says, salespeople should only need to concentrate on building relationships with people that truly need their services. You guys agree with that? You guys disagree with that?
Well, to build on that, maybe I think that's another reason that I added an agent to my team that's newer, because you kind of got to the point where I built my database up of past clients, such that just to be able to keep up with all the follow-ups, the quarterly follow-ups, and touching base with them, and continue to provide service for them after the sale, and truly staying top of mind. Um, you know, then I needed somebody to help with the leads that were coming in.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's, yeah. So I think there's more than one aspect here is not only a businessman, but I attend church and such. And if we want to be the light to other people, so as we're building relationships, we're not only building relationships in business, but in life as well. So I don't know that it's not only people that need our services. I mean, for business wise, maybe, but I think bringing them to other places that are more important, potentially are important too.
Yeah, and Bob Berg, he wrote The Go Giver. He also wrote a book before The Go Giver called the Never Ending Referral Source.
Right. Yep.
And the interesting thing is, every person that you meet has a web of 250 people. Is what he has kind of drawn out. So I always, and I'm a salesman at heart, and I always tend to I want to build relationships with everybody. Because I don't know who in their 250 person web is going to meet me. Now, I don't sell to everybody.
Right.
So I think there might be a difference. Salespeople should only need to concentrate on selling to people that truly need their services. I think you always have to be building relationships because you don't know who they know who need your service.
Oh, absolutely.
That makes sense.
And a lot of times, the same people they do. To tell you the truth. Yeah. You're like, hey, I know that person.
Yep.
My brother has a different last name, and people didn't realize we knew each other. Many times we were in a group together. So it was always kind of funny. Kind of funny.
I'll tell you what, that's one thing I've loved about sales, real estate sales, is it has taught me the importance of, it helped me create a system with staying in touch with people. And that includes my own mom, sisters, brothers, they should get quarterly phone calls too,
Maybe
the mom should get weekly phone calls.
Let's talk about that, because the old saying is, a prophet's not a prophet in their hometown.
Yeah, absolutely.
And does your family, do the people closest to you use you?
Right.
Or you know what? Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Haven't talked to you in a little while. My neighbor just moved. I thought about you after they moved.
That's right.
Type of a thing.
That's it.
So it is kind of true, right?
And absolutely, yeah. I mean, you got to stay top of mind to everybody, especially your family. And if your family's not using you, and a lot of times you're not the prophet in your own town. So, if I tell agents around here, like, hey, I'm a pro, and they'll be like, yes, sir, we get out of here. Right? But across the globe, people haven't seen me make the mistakes that I've made to get where we're at today and such, and may recognize a little bit more of the expertise that we have to share. Right. Yeah. Like Rick Angell here, nobody here knows him, so they think he's amazing, like me. Right. But your family should be using you, and if they're not, you need to call them more frequently. And I agree.
Yeah, I've gotten referrals from my mom. I've gotten referrals from my brother, from my sister, both sisters, and my brother. Yeah, every single. Yeah, I've got 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and mom. All of them sent me referrals.
There you go.
Me too.
I guess that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
My son bought a house. I was glad he used me.
That's right.
What do you got?
Well, I was just going to say, now you guys are savvy veterans. You've seen the good, you've seen the bad in the years that you guys have been in the profession. Bottom line is, though, that there are some new realtors out there that, well, they just jumped in the last couple of years, and now it's, I've got 6 customers. You've got a wall of 150 right there. I've got 6 customers, and these 6 people have, and this is what has to be going through their mind, right? These 6 people have to be tired of hearing from me. What do you guys tell your new people on your teams, or just new people in the industry, to say, you got to do it?
Yeah.
Or, how do you help them through that hurdle?
Well, I'd say that they may have 6 deals or 6 past clients, but they have a sphere that they should be calling, and that sphere is your old piano teacher, your cousin, your uncle, your brother, your sister, your dog sitter, your dog washer, your everybody, and they should be reaching out to all those people on a regular basis too, because those are people that know you in some way, shape, or form, and might put a little more credence and ability, a little more easy communication than cold calling or calling a stranger, right?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. You could say there's possibly two different types of those new realtors out there. Maybe one of them's been established in the area for a long time, and they've got kind of went to school, and they know a lot of people in the area. Then there may be others that are like just moved to an area and they're brand new, don't know anybody. But yeah, for those that have lived in the area for a while, I mean, such was the case with me. That a lot of my business started with members from the church, even that they just if you got a good name,
Yeah.
and people know you, like you, and trust you, and then you just let the word out, and so I just started talking to everybody and letting everybody know, and it just started to come.
Yeah.
Thankfully, yeah. But that's not to say that I didn't also do some other things. Like I had got out and knocked the doors of my neighborhood, passing out door hangers and doing open houses, and I did it all to try to build the business as quick as I could.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've talked about that farming in the past couple of shows. And here's what I tell, of course we're on the lending side, but here's what I tell people on new age lenders, right? Is I'm like, those people in your sphere, on your list, do they hate you? Well, no. Yeah. Do they have good hearts? Yeah, they got good. Well, then they want to help you.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? Now you don't want to sell them, but you want to let them know. They let them know you're excited about your new position. Let them know you're excited, and give them good content to say, "Oh man, I want Kent to win."
Yeah, absolutely.
And next thing you know, the phone will start ringing because Kevin said that I should give you a call.
And everybody wants to be on a winning team, right? So when you're in touch with them and you're telling that, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's not them. So the best way to get people to help you is a tip I had learned is early in the morning when people are getting ready for work, they're driving to work, etc., is to send them a Facebook Messenger or something of that nature saying, "Hey, I'm looking to make a business decision. Wanted to pick your brain. Can you help?" And that "can you help" says, "Yeah, I'd love to help you." And you can ask them questions. Whatever you're doing in your business, you always have questions, things that you can, quiz people on, because we're always trying to be better at what we do. And when they feel like they're helping you, they're part of a team, and they want to win, right?
Yeah.
So that's good too. Right, exactly.
Yeah, Ted just kind of clarifies his comment and just says, "Yeah, we make our best customers from our past customers."
Absolutely.
And building relationships, but spending time in the office, just cold calling, perhaps, he says, in his service industry, kind of makes sales tough.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Cold calling that's the hardest job ever.
Yes, it is.
Emotionally, maybe not physically, but emotionally.
These inside sales agents that's all they do. I don't know how they do it.
Right.
I don't either.
Right. They're built from a different DNA, I think.
Yeah,
that's
it.
Absolutely. Well, of course, you're listening to the Neighborhood Pulse. This is with Kevin Callback, the real estate show here, 216 The Net. Today, we're talking about lead follow-up and client care. We've got our good friend, Rick Angell. That's Rick Angell with 2 L's, and from South Carolina, joining us today, talking about what he does and how he does. And if you are interested in finding out a little bit more, somebody who's moving to the Greenville area over there in South Carolina, Rick is the guy to get a hold of. You can find him out at Zillow. Go to zillow.com/profile/Rick Angell, or just look for agents and just put in his name. Google. You don't even have to have a zip code. Just Rick Angell, and you'll find him. Or out on Facebook, you can follow him too.
That's it. See, Angel.
Yeah.
That's it. So we were talking about communicating. The other thing, Facebook question for help is somebody always told me the 5, 5, and 5, and I think we've all heard that before. Whereas you make 5 phone calls, 5 emails, 5 handwritten notes every day. So at least that way, every week, you're sending out 30, 35 contacts to different people. So it's really, if you send 5, 5, and 5, 35 a week. And you do something like that, Rick?
Yeah, that was actually the part of my goal is for quarterly phone calls or with touching base with past clients or Spear is 5 a day.
5 a day.
So at least 5 a day with those, and then if I can do another 5, 10, 15 with contacts with lead follow up, that's the other goal.
Yep, I gotta say, so anybody getting into the industry, I would say communication. If you make yourself good at communication, because not all of us start out very good at making phone calls and contacting people that we haven't seen in a while and stuff. Those are tough conversations, especially when you're calling them, telling them you're in business, and you want them to help you grow that business, right? So, is reach out and make sure you do that, and if you can communicate well, and it'll become easier over time as you do it. And if you talk to somebody the first time, maybe it's not a comfortable conversation because you haven't talked in a while. But the next time you call them, it'll be a little bit better and a little bit better. And next thing you know, you're going to have this whole sphere of people that are helping you build your business.
So, in the green room, you guys were talking about your calendars when it comes to client care follow up with leads. Tell me a little bit more about that. Again, talk to the new agents, if you would, Rick, out there on maybe a couple ideas on how you set your calendar up to make sure that lead follow up and client care is taken care
of. Well, it's on my calendar as a reoccurring event for every day from 9 to 11, and it's titled lead gen, lead follow up, and so I look at my calendar every day and I try to follow it. So that's the one thing that I do to try to help. The other thing is I have in my CRM, I have a to-do list. So if there's I go in there and it'll tell me who to call that day. Okay, so pull up the CRM and it says call so and so. So I do that, make my notes, and then I'll set it up to call them again in another 3 months.
Right. So anytime you're in a file, I agree with what you just said. Is one, make notes so you remember what you talked about, and you're going to know their kids' names and how old they are and what sports they play and do they have a dog and are they married and when's their anniversary, when's their birthday, so the next time you talk to them, you could say, hey, how's your kid? How was soccer season? Soccer season's coming up. You're getting ready for that. Things like that to communicate with them, to care for them. For one, is know what's going on there in their life and be able to talk about things that they're passionate about. I think is important. And the other thing is like you said, when you're exiting that record, is set a task to call them again. Because if you don't, that there's no task set, they might fall through the cracks. You're like, shoot, how did I not call them again? You forgot to set a task or a to-do or a call list or something of that nature.
That's right.
It's your CRM, and it's mine. I can go through and I hit past clients and it'll shoot me a list of past clients and I can just call it on the list. Is there a different method you use than that, or is there any methodology you use to pick who gets contacted?
Yeah. Well, when we close on somebody, if it's somebody I want to stay in contact with, most of them are. Most of them are. There may be that one or two here and there that you don't, but there's they get automatically assigned to call again in 3 months, and then when that comes up, I'll call them, and then like you said, it's very important to keep a journal. Notes of all your phone calls and conversations, or even if you attempted a phone call, left a message or sent a text, and whether you heard back or not.
Right.
But then, setting that reminder for the, I can just do 3M and tab, and it'll automatically go to the next, the next 3 months. Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of automatic.
I think you have it in your system as well, as where if you're at your computer, even in your phone, you can hit past clients and hit dial, and it'll just keep calling. So when you hang up, it just dials the next one, hangs up, dials the next one. So it's pretty hands free. You can while the phone's ringing, if you're leaving messages, you can work on something else, writing your thank you cards or note cards or whatever the case is.
But there's also if you didn't have an automated system like that, then you could try texting first as well.
Yeah.
Just send a simple text. Say, hey, do you have a minute to chat?
Sure. That's actually a good idea.
Because a lot of people nowadays, they're a little bit more. They almost prefer texting, especially the younger generation. So there's a few out there that what their preferred communication is, calling, but a lot of people, they may be busy. I guess the biggest thing I do, and I've learned from, and kind of a core value I go follow is I try to put myself in other people's shoes,
Right.
and I assume that they're busy at work, or maybe they got a kid they're busy with or something. And if somebody was just calling me out of the blue, maybe I'd be too busy to talk at that moment. But if they sent me a text, said, "Hey, Rick, you got a chance to check? I got a minute to chat," I'd see it, and then I would either call back, or I'd reply back saying, "Not right now, but later this afternoon's good."
That's nice. That's good. And then you put it in your calendar, right? So you make sure to call them. So that'd be good. Calling people and remembering to call them back. Texting, that's a good tip, actually, is the method of communication that people prefer. And when you do talk to them, I think it's important to ask them. We do that for all our new clients, is how do you prefer to communicate? Some are like, call me because I don't use this phone too much, or I don't do internet. Right?
Another thing that I did when I got my new phone from Verizon, I didn't use my name. I used not spam pickup.
That's right. That's right.
That's good.
That's right.
That's pretty good, actually. I've heard some feedback from even from people here lately that when I called them, it came up as spam. I'm like, why? Yeah.
That's
So
right.
that's weird.
Yeah.
Who determines that, right?
I don't know. I've got a good friend though. Potential spam calls me quite a bit, which is funny. If you don't have, if you're not with a group that that has a CRM, or you haven't purchased one, maybe you're that new person. I got this from a pretty successful lender. Is every one of his clients, borrowers, is he created them as a calendar event. So in other words, like a meeting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he keeps all of his notes and everything on there.
Right.
And if if Rick's on there and I call Rick, hey Rick, hope things are going well, and I have it on the calendar for today at this time to call him, and I give him a call, whether I get his voicemail or anything, I can just add the date and a line in there, just say left Rick a quick voicemail, just checking in on the quarterly, and then I can go and set that appointment again for that 2 or 3 months. It's a little bit more cumbersome, but at the same time, if you don't have hundreds of clients like you guys do, it's a neat way to go ahead and make sure that you've got it, and it'll pop up on your calendar. Oh man, okay, I should today. I've got to call Kevin.
Yep. And most of the CRMs out there have the free trial period or free.
Yeah.
Because once you get set up and you start learning their system, changing systems is a nightmare. So use one of those free ones for a while, and until you figure out which direction you're going to
go. I like that though, because the point, the thing I get out of what you just said is just find a way.
Right.
Just get it. Don't make excuses. And if we have a lead that wants me to call them back at a specific time, then I have to I'll put it in my calendar as an event to call. Hey, so and so wants me to call them at 4. So then, if I put it in my calendar, then it's more likely going to get done.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's not in my calendar, it's most likely not going to get done. Yeah. That's a fact.
So with you guys, again, savvy veterans, how long did it take for you to set your client care and lead follow-up as a discipline? So I heard a quote today that, and what does it go? Discipline will help you win, not motivation. Right, because there you see all these places out there, all these motivational quotes, things like that. But this person was like, motivation does nothing for you. Discipline will help you win.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So with that said, how long did it take you guys to understand or set that discipline from 9 to 11 that this is what I'm doing?
Yeah. I would say it took me probably 5 years before I did it. Yeah. I was flying by the seat of my pants, figuring, well, okay, we got this. It wasn't until things were falling through the cracks and going, what's going on here? What is happening? And then it brought me back to my business plan. What is my business plan and how do I accomplish that business plan? Right. I said, well, if I'm not making my calls, I'm not getting deals. If I'm not getting deals, I'm not meeting my business plan. If I'm not meeting my business plan, what am I doing? Right. And that's how I kind of looked at it. How about you, Rick?
Yeah, I guess it depends. It could vary for a lot of different people. Probably a little less time, but I think starting off, this is not a promo for KW, but they do have good training, and the office that I'm with, I think it matters who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
And what is everybody else around you doing? Who are you learning from?
Well, and
you're hanging out with.
You're an engineer, so processes and discipline is pretty easy for you.
This is true too. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's keeping in touch with people. It's and CRM, like I said, use something. Make sure you do it. Set time block it, and keep in communication. The Ben Verified. Have you ever used that?
I haven't. I've heard of it, but I haven't used it.
When is a lead a client, and when do you cut them loose?
Wow.
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, there's
So lead becomes when you can schedule that initial consultation or initial appointment. You have that appointment with them, and of course, if you make that relationship, then they become a client. And when do you cut them loose? When they say, "Stop calling me."
Right. That's right. They stop picking up your calls for a while. You're like, all right. Yeah, that's right.
There's times when after you've tried 20 times, I guess I never say no to somebody. I always have the mindset of, well, just not now. They're just not ready right now. So, but I'll just start spacing the lead follow-up out, from every day to then once a week to once a month to once every 3 months. If they're working on credit issues and things like that, then you can gauge that. They're probably 6 months away. Or if they just signed a 1-year lease, then you can set a follow-up to call them again 9 months from now, see how.
And not everybody's a good fit, right? So when you meet people and you have that consultation, whether it's a listing or a buyer's presentation, is sometimes you say, you know what, this is probably not a good fit for us. I don't know that I'm gonna be able to service you best for what you're looking and how you want to look for it. Maybe I'm not the best guy for that.
That's a really good point. Absolutely.
So don't take everything just because, sometimes you're better off saying, you know what, I'm just not the best fit. And that's hard to do because it's hard to say no to people, but sometimes.
And when you're newer, it's harder to do.
Absolutely. That's right.
Yeah.
That's true. And hang in there when you are getting ready to go. So hang in there, keep making those calls, be disciplined, follow the advice from today, and you can be successful. You got to be persistent and consistent and you will be successful. And treat real estate when you're getting into it like college. I'm finding people coming in, they're like, I got there and I wasn't making any money. And I say, well, when you went to college, how much did you make there? And they're like, they didn't pay me. Right. You paid them. Right. So now real estate's the same way. It's kind of like an internship or going to college. The only problem is we're not making you pay us to teach you our trade. Right.
Yeah.
But we'll share anything and everything we can to help people be successful no matter where you're from.
Yeah. That's a good point. The college analogy, I like that. I haven't heard that one before. But also treat it like a job. If you've come in from a place where you've worked 8 to 5 and got paid by the hour Monday through Friday, then head into the real estate office and work 8 to 5.
And if you do that and you make your calls and you're disciplined, what's going to happen, Rick?
It'll all start to come together.
Sure will.
Eventually, it'll take a few months, but maybe up to a year. You stick in it past your first year, you're more likely to. It'll start rolling for you.
Yep, absolutely. You're going to learn a lot of good habits. I love what you said. Surround yourself with amazing people. If you want to be amazing, it's the best way to do it. And then today is Freedom Friday. Break the chains that bind you, whatever they may be. Rick, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Love you,
Yeah.
brother. We'll talk to you soon. And you ever need anything, give us a call. We can reach you on Zillow at Rick Angell with 2 L's, or on Facebook, Rick Angell with 2 L's as well.
Yeah. Better reach out through Facebook. You'll send me a message on Messenger or something like that. Zillow is where you can find all the information about me and look me up and things like that.
Beautiful.
Awesome. All right. Appreciate you.
Tom.
And of course, this has been the Neighborhood Pulse with Kevin Colback. Come back at 3 p.m. Central for In the Know with Steph, no Joe. Just Steph, no Joe. We'll get them back together. And then tonight, folks, live from the brand new Quiet Cool Studio down in Addison, Illinois, is the Dream Home Experts at 8 p.m. You don't want to miss this one. For all of us here, 21.6 The Net, thanks for getting caught in the net. Remember, be good. More importantly, be good to each other.
Amen. Amen.